external customers of Wells Fargo. We deal in devices. We provide reports on data intelligence, and I work on reporting tools like Tableau, MicroStrategy, and SSRS. So we have these data needs that customers come up with. We provide consolidated reports depending upon what is the need, what is the business justification of the report that they want. Do we have the right source? What is the intended audience? So we implement those standard questions and we give them a report that would fulfill their business objectives.
Okay, great. So now let me take you back to very start of your professional career. So how did you start? What was your first job? Tell us about that first.
So yeah, interestingly, I didn't start as a business analyst at all. It was completely by default then design. My background is being into the airline industry. I started my career as a flight attendant, as a cabin crew with the national carrier. I did my MBA. So after MBA, I started working in a bank as an assistant manager. But just something, this came my way, and I thought, why not take the plunge? Because later on, I might not be able to ever do that in my life. So I took that plunge. I went, I applied, I got selected, and I joined the airline. So it was very interesting, very enriching experience for me, traveling international and having exposed myself to different facets of the airline industry domain. So after that, I flew there for 5 years, and then I came to the US. After coming to the US, I started exploring my options, what the things that I can do. I wanted to do something apart from the airline because it was just going back to what I was doing originally. So I thought let's do something different. Let's see what the market is. Then I stumbled upon this role, and I thought, given my experience, given the kind of person that I am, it would be a good fit. It resonated with me, and I decided to be an analyst.
Okay. So now tell us about the preparation which you did before kind of starting to appear for the interviews. That is something which is very interesting. So please share that.
Sure. So, firstly, I thought, okay, let me do my master's, let me do something academically which will give me that knowledge, which will give me that edge because I was just so raw, something that I've never done that before. My bachelor's was into business. I did my MBA, so and flying was just considered flying. So I thought, let me probably do my master's program and get there. I saw what it looks like because it was like a lot of time, a lot of resources that went into it. So I thought, okay, let me do a trial and error approach. Maybe I may not even like this kind of role. So firstly, I got in touch with my friends who were working in companies, the developers, the people into technology, and I connected with them. I said, connect me to the business analyst in your team. I specifically targeted people who are working remotely. So I said, okay, once I got connected with them, I told them, make me part of your project. Like, I would like to know what it is like. I would like to listen to the meetings that you conduct. What are the things that you do on a day-to-day basis? I was offering them remote support. I was doing voluntary work for them, the groundwork that an analyst needs to be done. It was all voluntary, something that was I never took. I mean, I couldn't charge them because I still very low. So it was a lot of groundwork that I did for consulting companies, insurance companies, and so on. I told them I don't need the money. I need your time. I need to be involved in what you're doing day to day. So that was the approach I took. That went on for a year, and I was just trying to gain as much confidence, as much knowledge, and mostly getting acclimatized to what the role is about. So that was my preparation back then.
So after this preparation, how did you use this information? Did you modify your resume so that before you apply for the BA positions, did you use this experience or the exposure in your resume?
Sure. So my resume, as I had a internship during my MBA that I did. So I used that internship. Then I used like that banking small experience that I had. Then I used my flying experience, and my flying experience, I would like to say, it was very diverse. It was not just that I'm a cabin crew. I was exposed to operations. I was exposed to training and development. I was exposed to employee grievance. So it was very multidimensional, very interesting. So with resume, I would say that you need to figure out a way how you would modify your resume based on what about the business analyst role. So initially, whatever the current experience I had didn't land me any job. That nobody was interested in what I did and what my background was. So I tweaked my resume in a way. For instance, if I did my internship with like in BPCL, so I said it was an HR internship. So I said HR consultant. Then for the banking, I said I'm a financial analyst. For the airline, instead of putting cabin crew, I put in airline professional. So the point is to put words, put things that would be close to a BA, what a BA does. So that would fetch you, and your resume would get picked up, so to speak. And also during, I couldn't put the groundwork experience that I did because it was very voluntary. It was very informal. So, but I had the knowledge. I had gained that kind of experience that they shared up with me. So I could defend that during my interviews. I could tell about what I did and what a role of a BA and what are the daily challenges look like. So that was the resume part of it.
Okay, so now moving on from the resume, how did your interviews go? How did you prepare for it, and how did it go?
Sure. So just to get you like the number game of it, by the time I decided to be an analyst, and by the time I actually landed up my first project with a retail company, there was a 6 month period that I was aggressively searching for jobs and trying to just get work. I must have applied in a total of 300 plus companies. I sent out 300 plus resumes um, in a period of 6 months, averaging around 20 to 30 resumes, weekly. So that was very intensive, very aggressive approach because every time there were rejections, every time there were, this is something or a misfit or it was just an uphill battle every day. You had to push myself and get there. So that was a part of my job hunting, a job finding.
Yeah, so important thing here for everyone is that if you are clear as to what you want to become, don't give up. Numbers, if you keep on trying, ultimately you'll get a call, and finally, as happened in your case, you'll get selected also. So tell
Right.
us about that interview where finally or interviews where you finally cracked it and you got a final confirmation.
Sure. So, as you know, the first objective is have your resume in a way that would be picked up by the system. And I'm sure everybody knows that there is a banking software. Every company has a software which picks up that resume. It has to have those keywords. Once that is done, you'll get a call from like an HR round or anything, which they'll just scan you. They'll see if it fits what you have written or and then finally, when you go for the round for the interview, I would suggest go for a face to face. I know it's quite a scary thought, but just go for a face to face round. Firstly, because it will prepare you much better than a phone round or for a web round, so to speak. You'll consciously prepare yourself much better. And secondly, what will do to your confidence is amazing because you'll be there in front of people talking about things, and they'll be just bombarding questions to you. Maybe it will be just like a horrible interview. Maybe it will be scary. The worst that could happen is you're not going to get selected, but it will definitely prepare you for the next round. It will definitely put you to a better place and position. So the first interview that happened, finally, it took me, 15 to 20 interviews to actually land up that one and crack that one interview. There was a time where I got selected. I got there, and then they said, "Oh, the project is scrapped out," or things like that. So a lot of unexpected and unpleasant surprises can happen. So when that interview happened, they told me, there is, we want experience. We want somebody who has done this kind of work earlier. Why should we hire you? So I said, I definitely probably don't fit perfectly into your role, but what I can bring to the table, I'm sure the other candidates or the other people from what that experience people have may not be able to bring to the table. I bring diversity, I bring my prior experience, I bring fresh ideas. So that is something that you can leverage and the company can bring value to. So that was my approach.
Right. So after you have gone through all this long trial and error, tell us
Mhm.
about your first job. Where did you
Sure.
join, and how was your first experience? Because coming from a very different background,
The
it must
profile
have
and
been
the
a
role
little
is
bit of an
called
uphill
service
task.
delivery partner. Correct. So what we do in this role is we so when service I landed clients, we my service first job, customers of internal what I did customers first of Wells was Fargo. We deal in devices. We provide
Listen to
reports
as
on
much
data
information that you can.
intelligence, and I
Be
work
a
on
good,
reporting
very
tools
good
like
listener.
Tableau,
And I
MicroStrategy,
would
and
say the
SSRS.
next most
So
important
we
thing
have these
would
data
be
lakes that
recording the
customers come up
meetings.
with. We
Like that,
provide
I think that is the
consolidated
only thing that
reports
will save you
depending
and
upon
would
what is
be
the
like,
need, what is the
an
business
edge.
specification of the report that we
Definitely
want.
take permission
Do we
from
have
the
the
people
right
who are
source?
there in the
What is the
meetings and
intended
say that I
audience?
would like to
So
record this
we
conversation for later
implement
reference.
those
Take new
standard
permission, don't
questions,
just
and
do
we
it
give
and
them
then,
a
be like, oh,
report that
I'm
would
sorry, I
fulfill
didn't
their
know about it.
business objectives.
So definitely take permission,
Okay, great.
record your
So now let
meetings,
me take you back
listen to it
to very
again and
start of
again and
your
again.
professional career.
Repetition is the key. Like I've
So
listened to
how did you
meetings probably
start?
10
What
times.
was your first job?
Listen to
Tell us
every
about
word, listen
that.
to what they're trying to say.
So yeah,
You'll
interestingly, I
feel
didn't
in a lost
start as a
island.
business
Like
analyst at all.
I
It
remember
was
being
completely
completely
by
intimidated
default
and
and design. My
like
background has been
probably I felt
into
I'm in
the
a
airline
foreign country,
industry. I
people
started
talking
my
Greek,
career
Latin around me, and I just
flight
didn't know what is
attendant
happening
as a
around me.
cabin crew with
So that is going to
international
happen.
carrier. I did my
Um,
MBA.
but
So
again, having
after the
said that,
MBA,
I
I
would say
started
that is
working
going
in
to
a
happen
bank as
any
an
which ways. Like even
assistant
how much well
manager.
prepared you are, how
But
much
just
you
something,
have
just came
experience,
my
knowledge.
way, and I thought,
There's
why
something
not
going to
take
be
it
that
up?
you don't know.
Because later on, I
There's
might
never something
not be
like
able
you're
to
too
ever do
perfect,
that
you're too
in my
prepared.
life. So
So
I
that is
took
going
that
to
plunge.
that
I
learning
went,
curve
I
will be there
applied,
where
I
you
got
don't know what is
selected,
happening around you. You're
and
completely new.
I joined
So
the airline.
record
So it was
meetings,
very
record
interesting,
conversation,
very
listen to it later,
enriching
do your
experience for me,
research.
traveling
And then
internationally,
what I did
having
was I
exposed
told
myself to
them
different
I
facets
need
of the
some
airline
time,
industry
to
domain.
listen, to know the
So
documentation, to know the
then
and I'm sure
I
they
came
give
to
you
the
as well
US.
because they know
After coming to
you're
the
very raw,
US,
you
I
don't
was
know
started
much.
exploring
So
my options,
buy
what the
time.
things that I can
And
do.
thirdly,
I wanted to do
feedback. Feedback
something
apart from the
very,
airline
very
is crucial.
crucial.
Like
Because
when it's probably when you start,
it
you
was
were
just going
30,
back to what
60,
I was doing
90
initially. So I
daily
thought,
back.
let's
The
do
first
something
month,
different.
let's
Let's
see what the
after
market
60
says.
days and after 90
Then I
days.
stumbled
Because
upon this role, and I
that's
thought,
how
how
my
you come
experience,
to know
given
whether
given a
you're
lot
on
of
the right
the
track,
person
if
that
you're
I
not doing
am, it would
something right, what are
be a
they
good fit.
expecting out of you? What is the
Resonated.
KPI? What is the role that they really want from you? So feedback is paramount.
Great. So now, since you have been now working for almost close to 2.5 years, 3 years rather,
Right,
so
3 years.
tell us which are the biggest challenges you have faced as a business analyst in last 3 years?
Sure. So my current role, the challenge that I face is documentation. Like there's no rule book, there's no standard handbook that is there where they have, like a black and white area that this is something that you should do, this is something that you're not supposed to do. It's a more, my current role is more client facing. What I do on day to day is 80% deal with clients, talk to the clients. So it's very, very dynamic, very client facing. Um, the challenge is there is no rule book, there's no documentation. When I came on board, there was no business literature. I used to just feel very, very uneasy about how am I supposed to deal with a situation like this, and if the customer has a certain expectation, what am I supposed to do? So I did a lot of job shadowing. Whatever I've learned in my current role is all on job shadowing. Suppose, for example, the current process, according in my organization, once we get a request from a customer and the developer starts, working on that request from a report, the BRD that we have, there is no change allowed as per the standard protocol. Like the customer can't come back and say, "Oh no, this is something that I want additional. This is something that I want modified." Once that sign off is done, you can't go back. But there are some umpteen number of cases where they have come back and say, "Oh, we want this minor tweak, we want this modification. What can you accommodate this?" So as an analyst, as somebody who wants to serve the clients the best of way, you have to take that call whether you want to accommodate that change or not, and if it's something that is doable for the developer. That's a call that you have to take, and that becomes a little gray area, because you just don't know whether that accommodation that you can have, whether it will be okay with your boss or not. So that is number one challenge. The next challenge I would say is coming from a non-IT background, being very overwhelmed and intimidated with no technical experience, no technical knowledge. And that is scary. Like that can be really scary. And the fact that I didn't plunge into this role earlier was I just thought I'm not cut out for this. I don't have technical knowledge. I don't come from a computer or IT background. So I think the best way to deal with it is to just tell yourself that there's always a start. There's always a start that people have. They must have started at some place for sure, and that's why they're in this position. So this is your start. This is somewhere that this is your journey. So don't beat yourself up and don't try telling yourself, oh, I'm not technically good. And what I have seen till now is working knowledge and a good to know and a need to know is very important. Like need to know is something that you need to focus on. Good to know is always good to know, but that shouldn't be like a deal breaker for you. So don't get overwhelmed with, oh, I don't belong here. I don't have the technical knowledge. I don't have an, whatever, a degree like engineering and so on. I told myself, this is my journey. This is my start. I'll get there within some time. I just have to push through it. So that's the biggest challenge coming from non-IT. And thirdly, standard is managing stakeholders. The success of an analyst will depend upon how well you serve the stakeholders. Do you manage their expectations well? Sometimes you have to read between the lines. Sometimes there's a lot of gauging. There's a lot of understanding what goes beyond. What is it that they really want? You have so many people that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. There are stakeholders, there are developers, there are SMEs. So you need to know what people want, where do they come from. Like, for example, for a developer, he is not interested in business. He's really not interested in what the business goals are. For him, what is required is concise requirements, something that he can be easily, he can code it well. He doesn't want any ambiguity. He doesn't want any if or if not be, I'm not sure, that kind of thing. So they're very structured, they're very analytical. Business wants a good product, a minimum viable product, which serves the expectations, timely product. You can't, have your own sweet time. So you have to know what every genre of, people want. So that becomes a challenge and that you'll only gain with experience. It's not a overnight thing. So you'll have to push through it.
Yeah, very good insights. One question which I always get in the class also is that technology, how much technical knowledge a BA should
Mm.
have? So, in your experience so far, which kind of technology knowledge have you used? And where did you feel that maybe you should have had something as tech
Right,
knowledge?
right. I remember I had the conversation with Sir earlier that I wish I should have done an engineering degree. I want to do an engineering degree right now, like, probably in some software development. So I feel I wish I could code, like when, for example, when I'm sitting in a room and people are just talking about, oh, like this structure and this, this database. And it just like sometimes I feel, oh, I don't belong here. I wish I knew something better than what I knew currently. So I do have that thing that I wish I knew how to code, but it's not really a mandate. It's not something that if you don't know, you're not going to become a good analyst. You'll definitely become a good analyst if you have what it takes to be there. There is, like, for instance, in my current organization, my colleague, he's got a background from economics. And I think he's like an amazing analyst. What he does is the way he engages with clients, what he knows how to conceptualize a report and how an idea, so to speak, and how to give people what they want. It's just brilliant. Like I have learned so much from him. So he has no experience in coding. He doesn't know programming. He doesn't have any technical experience, like a strong technical experience. So don't like have that limiting belief. Like for instance, I work on Tableau. I work on MicroStrategy. I had never heard of this earlier. So it's as I said, working knowledge is important. Like I know what Tableau is, what's the front end, what is it that a customer wants from a Tableau report, what goes into it, what is the data source, how do we export, and I know those things. But I don't think I need to know how a Tableau developer works and what is it that really goes into Tableau. I don't think it's always nice to know. I would love to know. Constrained and given the space that I'm in, I don't need to. So don't beat yourself up that there's so many things that happen. You have to know basics of things. You have to be like a facilitator. You have to have those kind of multi-dimensional knowledge. But I don't think like a strong one thing is required.
Yeah. So that's a very important point for everyone who is looking to become a business analyst. I hope that clarifies the doubt.
So
So now, final question: what do you think you like about being a business analyst?
a lot of things actually. So number one is the impact that an analyst has on a project. Positive impact. A lot of tangible results are seen in a project, in the success of a project. It's the analyst role is like a catalyst, So when we don't have an analyst, when it's a bad analyst in our project, so everything crumbles down, everything is scattered. A good analyst makes a big, huge difference to the success of a project, and that's how the recognition comes. Like for instance, this role, the current role, the service delivery partner, it was not there earlier. So all has to happen is customers is to come, they used to have their request, they used to go to the developer, meet them, say this is something that we want, um, and then the developer is to start working on it. They used to come back saying, oh no, this is something that we don't want, this is something that we would like to add. A lot of shoulder tapping is to happen, no accountability, no standardization, and lot of time is to go in, the bottleneck of it. So then they came up with this rule stating that this service delivery partner would be like a bridge, would be somebody who would be like a channel from the tech team and the business team. And a lot of time was saved, standardization took place. Now the customers are not allowed to go directly to the developers, they have to go through us. So in case of there is any bug, there is anything that they want, everything is documented, it all is in Jira and the productivity tool. So next time if they come again, we can tell them, oh, this is something that we have given you already, this is something that you have with you. So it becomes like it makes life easier for everybody. So a huge impact to the project. Secondly, I feel what I like about being an analyst is the role is very diverse. I mean, for me, versatility is important. Like, I cannot do one thing forever, like, all my life. So, it's very diverse. It gives you a lot of exposure talking to so many people across the organization. Like, for example, like the customers that we serve, like one day I would be talking to somebody in a particular state, in a particular in a team, a technology manager. Tomorrow I might be talking to somebody very different, somebody from India, somebody from anywhere around the globe. So it's very diverse. Every day is a new day, and that's what brings that excitement into this role. So that diversity is there. A lot of challenges. Thirdly, what I like is it's very futuristic. The future looks bright for analysts. You have this technology wave that is coming across with AI, with automation, robotics. So I'm sure like the analysts would be very crucial in projects, and I'm sure no robot can replace an analyst. So it's nice.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said last question, but I think there's one more question. So,
Sure.
for all the audience who is going to listen to this or who are listening,
Mhm.
two, three things. Who are looking to become a business analyst, what do you say I mean, there are a lot of people who are on the fringes. They want to become business analysts, but sometimes it's just that they don't want to cross the boundary. They are very kind of apprehensive about, can I do that? Yeah.
Right.
So what did you share? Having done this, what did you
Mhm.
share?
Mm, Final takeaways I would say is firstly, be very, very convinced that you want to do this. Like have that strong belief, or have that strong conviction that this role is for you. This is something that you want to do with your life. Have once that is confirmed, don't let anything, anyone talk you out of it. Don't let anybody say you're too old, too young, not the right fit, not right background, or anything ways, or even a communication barrier. Like communication, I'm sure it's crucial. I wouldn't deny that. It all revolves around communication, but maybe English is not your first language. Maybe there is something that you have apprehensions about. Don't let that stop you. Work on that, because it's very easy to get demotivated. It's very easy to feel beaten down because the journey is very long. It's an uphill battle. It's a long climb. So have that firm belief, and once that belief is there, it will sail you through. Like for me, I had just given up my that airline job, and it meant a lot for me. So the factor of not having a job and not having a career was very devastating for me. So I knew I had to do this. I wanted to do this. So that desperation was there in me. So be convinced, be 100% sure you want to do it. It's your decision, not somebody else's decision on you. Second would be confidence. Have immense confidence in yourself, because especially for people from non-IT, because that's the only metal you have. That's the only armor you have, because the technical things will come with time, but when you face the customers, when you face interviews, especially, you have to exuberate that confidence that this is something, I'm the right fit for it. So have immense confidence in your daily work, and because hiring managers and people who look for confidence, they want a reason to hire you. When they listen to you, they need to have that feeling of I want to talk to this person again. You know what I mean? So confidence is crucial. And thirdly, be extremely gritty and networking. Like networking will take you to places. If you have to be there at the right time at the right place. I know brilliant analysts who don't end up getting good roles because they don't put themselves up there. Be very good at networking. Be a people magnet. Be in the good books of everybody. Go out there, talk to as many people as you want. Tell them that you are interested in this role, and that will take you to places.
Great. Fantastic. It was great talking to you.
Sure,
Now,
thanks.
anyone who wants to ask a question, you can either unmute yourself and ask, or you can type in the chat. So you can see on the right hand side, there is a chat window. Type in your questions there, or you can unmute yourself and go ahead.
Can't hear. Please check your speaker or your phone. Okay, what is?
That has been sorted out.
Okay. No questions.
So far, no questions.
It's probably too good or too bad.
No, no. People will ask questions. If they
Sure.
have been able to get all the answers, they will be satisfied. Yeah, so there's one question from Taibo. How easy is it to get a job as a new entrant as a BA without experience?
Okay, that's the question. Taiwo, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Taiwo, there's no such thing as easy. Nothing is easy. As I said, it landed me 300 plus company applications to finally get that one round. So definitely not easy. But again, having said that, it's doable. It's completely, it's not insurmountable. What I mean to say, you'll have to have a very structured approach, systematic approach. You'll have to charter your way through it. Without it, I mean, there must be something like some experience that you have that you can defend it. Like I had airline experience, I had an earlier internship experience. So you have to defend your analyst role based on what you have done. Like depends on what, like if I might ask, what is the experience that you have? Is it completely raw? I mean, what degree, what is it that you have, so that I can, like, tell you better.
In this case, he's saying without experience.
Okay, without experience. Well, start somewhere, get some internship, get something going, because no experience, like if you have not worked anywhere, it's going to be, I don't know if I would say impossible, but it's going to be very, very difficult for you. So gain something, like gain some groundwork, do something or the other which will put you there. So if that answers your question.
Yeah, so like she has already mentioned, she talked to her colleagues and worked on a kind of a more like a shadow business analyst. That should help you. So while you are learning
Okay.
business analysis skills, you can do that also.
Right.
That should be okay. So there are other questions. Uh, does domain knowledge, Anand is asking, does domain knowledge important in this context? If
Mhm.
yes, how to get?
Okay. So Anand, the thing is, domain knowledge, yes, definitely important. But they're not going to expect you to be an expert and give your comments and try to solve every problem that comes your way. It is important till the time that what the role demands out of you. If it's a highly what you say, into capital market, like for example into banking, if it's highly into capital markets, or if they want any specific, like insurance, they have this guide wire policy center that they want. So that depends, that really depends. Domain knowledge, yes, it's important, but how would you get there? It's not something that you can read a book, or you can watch a video and you'll get there, or you probably talk to somebody. It will come with time. It comes after years. Like now I am into banking. This is my second project into banking. I don't think I have like all the domain knowledge of banking, but because I'm into technology, I know what the business side of it does, what's the business intelligence of it does. I don't think I'm still like, I have like a great domain knowledge. So, as I said, working knowledge is important. Get the basics of it. What is it that the banking industry does? What are the sectors of it? So, I think that should be fine. Don't get too hell bent and don't get too stuck on with like one thing. So, that answers the question.
So Anand, basically what she has mentioned, to begin with, any domain knowledge takes a lot of time to build. It's not something which you
Right.
can develop, especially the expertise in 1 month, 2 months, no matter what kind of a course you do. So, as
Right.
she was mentioning about working knowledge, what you should do is focus on getting the working knowledge first, meaning understand the key terminologies, the key processes of a particular domain, and then you can get started. And
Mhm.
as you are doing more projects, you'll be able to build your expertise in due course of time. But there are a lot of positions in BA which is not kind of always need a banking or a domain expertise. There are a lot of generalist BA positions available.
Abhishek,
Okay, so there are,
Abhishek, can
yeah,
I ask you a
go
question?
ahead, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a student. I'm a student of Techcanvass, and I keenly follow your website. So I saw their domain certification. So here, Natasha said we need working knowledge, or need to know and good to know. So I saw the domain certification, said the banking certification course or payment certification course. Is that
Right.
is for working enough for working knowledge? Say
Yes.
you have 4 or 5 courses over there. Can you explain a little bit? And I have another question. Um, you have US
Go ahead.
healthcare certification course, and is it applicable same similar system they are using in Canada, or is different? US and Canada health systems, I know a little bit different. Is it? So I have two
Okay. So
questions. Thank you.
okay. So the first part of the question about the working knowledge and our courses. Yes. So all our courses are focused on working knowledge. Okay. These courses are not very in-depth courses. Uh, these are all geared towards working knowledge. Okay. So there is a part one of the questions answer. Second part of it is US healthcare. I am not very familiar with healthcare systems. Okay. But whatever basic understanding I have of US or Canada healthcare systems, they are more driven by the insurance companies. Okay. And in that respect, US is very different, possibly from many other countries. Okay. Uh, Canada, I'm not sure. You'll have to figure. Probably I have to check it, and then I can answer your question.
Okay, and also I would like to add, so the thing with certification, with degrees, and with everything, which is academically designed, I'm not undervaluing it. I'm not even saying that it's not important. It's definitely important, but I feel people getting to like they wait for it. Okay, once I'll get the certification done, probably I'll get the degree done, and don't, because time and people are your biggest assets. You have to leverage them. Like I didn't wait for like a degree to come, or like only when I'm certified I'll apply for jobs. No, it's not going to work like that. Go out there aggressively, and at the end, what do employers want? They don't want somebody to be certified just to get that job done. Their goal is to get the right person to get the job done. You are certified, you're not certified, you have the degree, you don't have the degree. I know people who are high school, who are great analysts. My reporting boss is an attorney, like she was an attorney, and what she brings to the table is just fantastic. So don't get stuck up with it. And I feel the problem with degrees and this whole academic thing is you feel you're entitled. Like I didn't like I looking back, I feel my MBA degree, I felt I was entitled to get this great job, great salary, great package, and everything. It doesn't work like that. What I did with that MBA is important. Do I have the skills? Do I have the knowledge? Do I have the right expertise to be there? Do I have the do I have the work done to get there? So don't get too stuck up on these things. It's important to know, it's important to do it. And the thing with certifications also is it definitely puts you in that place, it brings you a network of people. It gives you that knowledge, it gives you those conversations with people. But don't get too stuck up with without any certification, I'll not get there. No, it doesn't work like that. Go there, try to find out a way. Like that one job can lead to you to another, and so on.
Right. Right. It's basically the idea here is that you keep trying. Don't wait to kind of fulfill all the kind of what
Right.
you see on the market that this is required, that is required. Don't get stuck up on that. I
Right.
think that's the message she's giving.
That will be
Okay, so
just
there are
like
many other
cutting yourself. Yeah.
so there are many other questions. Tharoor is asking how to get case studies on banking projects. Okay, so I'll answer this. So there are resources available on the internet. Okay, so when you say case studies, what possibly you are looking at is as a BA, what you need to show in your resume. Maybe you have done requirements gathering, maybe you have created BRD or SRS, maybe you have created use case diagrams, UML diagram, process flows. So there are examples available on the internet. Go and search, you'll find certain things. Okay. As a side note, by the way, we are actually launching projects lab. I think next month it should be up and running. So we are just trying to create a whole host of projects on different domains and even general business stuff. But I can tell you that there are a lot of things which are available on the internet. Okay, so you can figure that out. In fact, one of the very Indian banking product called FlexCube, the entire documentation of FlexCube is available on the internet on Oracle website. It's Oracle product, so you can get all how to open a savings account, how the loan is disbursed, how is loan approved. Everything is available on those documentation. Okay, so you can just search for FlexCube Oracle, you'll find it. Okay. Next question is by Roshan. He's saying, I'm looking forward to SFDC BA in India. I have a CCBN ADM 201 certification. Uh, SFDC, I'm not aware. What is SFDC? Roshan, if you can clarify that. Salesforce. Okay, okay. Yeah, so are you familiar with Salesforce? So to become a Salesforce BA, you need to have the product knowledge also. That is pretty much required. So if you're familiar with it, then um, it should be fine. But I feel in India, there are not too many Salesforce partners available for implementing Salesforce products. So you'll have to figure out one, which are the companies which are partners of Salesforce who do implementations for different customers in India, and you'll have to apply there. That will be an easier way to find out a job as Salesforce BA. Your CCBA certification and ADM certification will definitely help.
What's the next
Okay.
question?
Next is which domain to choose: banking, financial services, or insurance? Which subdomain are in highly demand? Payments, etc.
I think Krishna, is that right? So get both. I would say don't. If you're starting off, unfortunately, we are not in a position to choose what we want to do. Just get work. Maybe like I didn't know I would be, this current role is a business intelligence role. Like by the look of it, I was completely overwhelmed. Like if I could do it or not. But right now, I love it. I completely enjoy my work. So by looking outside of it, you wouldn't know, which is good, which is bad, and I want to choose insurance, finance, retail. So I would say don't choose because with no experience with out there, very raw in the market, it will be a very detrimental thing to do for you. Just get work. For example, I think banking analysts are very much in like always there. They need a lot of analysts in the banking sector. So get something in the banking, like just for a start, just to know what a BA does and what how the financial domain works. Maybe you may or may not like it. Like for instance, I thought I would love retail. I do like retail, but there are a lot of things that goes into retail. It's just not about requirement gathering and use cases and so on. Like my project, they had not we wanted knowledge of APIs. They wanted how things work at the back end, UI, UX. So it's endless. Start with something like just get a break and then see how how and when you like it. So that would be my advice.
Okay, so there is one question from Tanya. She's asking, I want to know about any sort of courses or certification you have done to start your career in BA.
So Tanya, I didn't do any certification to start my career because I honestly didn't know whether I would even be the right fit or something that I can pull this role. I didn't do any certification. I did a very hands-on trial and error approach. Let me see how things work. Maybe I'll be a completely, I'll make a blunder. So I didn't wait, and I think looking back, that was a good decision because once you start, waiting and then you wait for the right time and opportunity, that will be very, very, not very helpful. So I didn't do any course or certification, but yes, I did a lot of groundwork. I did a lot of networking. YouTube and Google were my best friends. So yeah, I did all that.
Hi Natasha, I have a question for you.
So
Yeah, Vishal, go ahead.
So Natasha, like you sat for a lot of interviews, like when you were like approaching like different companies.
right.
So what was the major question that everyone had in common? Like every company or every HR asked you the same question and again and again. Like I know that switching career would be the one. Like why are you switching? But other than that, what was the major questions you got?
I think that's a good question. The one question is standard, and the one question would be like, would be the at the end, and that is the opportunity to make an impact. So the question is, why should we hire you? After all that they have, scrutinized, spoken to you, and got what you're all about, they'll ask you that one basic question: why should we hire you? And that is a very important question, and that would be at your advantage if you talk it out. If you give that impact, if you give that impression that you are the best person that they can take a chance on you. So what I used to say is, why should they hire me? Because firstly, I said what I bring to the table is diversity, my versatile experience. Um, I bring in a lot of prior tacit knowledge to this role. I bring in empathy, and given my versatile and diverse experience, I believe I can provide value to the organization, and I have a lot to offer. So it depends upon the role as well. So for instance, like this role, it was a client facing role. It was very highly dynamic, and it was all the time, you're dealing with clients. So why should we hire you? Because I told them that for 5 years of my life, I've done is facing difficult situations, facing customers, dealing with customers. So I have that refinement, I have that nuances, that what people want, where they come from, and how is the best that I can serve them. So you can, formulate in a way that would uh, make them higher and exuberate confidence. Like as I said even earlier, be extremely confident in yourself and make them believe that you are the right person.
Okay, Natasha, thank you so much.
No way.
Okay, Anand has a long question. He has given a scenario about how does a business analyst gets into an agile project. Okay, so whether PO needs a business analyst. Okay, so see, a business analyst can be part of the team, which in Scrum is known as Scrum team. Okay, and along with the product owner, business analysts work with the developers and the testers and even the customers to develop user stories, to manage user stories, to manage the change requests, to manage the entire Scrum and the requirements handling in Scrum. So business analyst is a very legitimate role which is being applied in a lot of organizations as part of Scrum. Okay, this is primarily for business analysts who are entry level or mid level business analysts. PO in itself, you look at PO role in itself is pretty much common to a business analyst role. It manages requirements, the PO manages the requirements, deals with the stakeholders. Only thing is the experience of PO needs to be more because they also need to understand the domain. They need to have carried out multiple similar projects. But otherwise, PO in a sense is a business analyst role. But at the entry level, they are assisted by business analysts who are part of the Scrum team. So that's how your organization can have business analysts as part of the this particular project which you described. All right. So good. I don't see any other questions. I think all the questions are answered. If I missed, please let me know. There were so many messages here. I might have missed something. Great. All right.
I have one question if we have still some time left.
Yeah, please, go ahead, Shweta.
Yeah, Natasha. So, like, did you always align your CV with the
requirement with the JDs, because your experience was very different. So it's very difficult to align to get shortlisted. So I am facing that difficulty because my CV is not getting shortlisted anywhere. I'm applying to several jobs, but yeah. So how did you manage that?
Right. Okay, Shweta. So the first thing is, yes, you have to tweak in a way that would.
Wait.
So yeah, that's cute. So what you have to do is, firstly, the first.
One
So
second.
Shweta,
I
the
will
first
just,
thing is, do I?
yeah,
I think
good.
comment. Okay. So yes, Shweta, the first thing is, you have to. The first task is to get your CV shortlisted. Don't think about the knowledge, the domain knowledge, and everything. That's secondary. First is your CV getting shortlisted, and yes, it's a it can go into a black hole. Your resumes can go into something that we can never be heard of later. I know that there is a software that which scrutinizes and scans and picks up your resume. You have to say, for example, there's a JD and they need Jira knowledge, or they need Tableau, they need kind of SQL. So say about three things that they need. Make sure that in your resume you have these three things listed at least twice. You know, so you may not be very pro at Jira, maybe you're not very pro at Tableau or so on, but be in a way that you have worked on Tableau earlier, or maybe you have done kind of that kind of work. So make sure that these three things come at least twice in your resume, because that's how your resume will get pulled from there. Secondly, you have to just network, as I said. Talk to as many people as possible. Make your resume, maybe get your resume from a professional resume writer, because that would be a great investment, because they exactly know how these resumes work and how what the companies look for. So do that. And thirdly, sometimes a thing that can work or not work can be in your favor. Like I'll share you an example and an experience. My this role, initially there was this requirement with Wells Fargo. They needed something in virtual payments. So they needed an experience in virtual payments, and they needed a certain set of things. I had done a project with Wells earlier as a UAT analyst. My resume got picked up, and they said they gave me, like, the first round was a phone round. I got selected. They sent me an air ticket. They told me to come to a place and have a face-to-face round. I must have shared it with Abhishek sir as well. So I went there, and there were like three people on the panel, and it was a 1 hour interview. So they asked me everything. It was functional role as well. They needed virtual payments experience. I didn't have virtual payments, but I had a data migration experience. I had like a different project experience, like my retail company experience helped. So after that 1 hour of drilling and everything, they liked me, and I was very confident that I will pass that interview and get that job. They wanted this tool called Jama. It's like Jira. It's a productivity tool. So they wanted this tool experience called Jama, which I didn't have in my resume. And they said, okay, we'll let you know. And I was quite confident I'll get that job. But they said, no, because of that Jama, I couldn't get through it. But what happened was, interestingly, since I'd made an impact, my impression was good, that hiring manager knew me, like my name was there in his head. So when this role came, they had me in mind, and they said, "Oh, look at that. Would you be interested?" Because they would be having another candidate to come and fly over, and So these things happen. They have like a database, or they have a record of available candidates who are close to a position but not complete fit. So next time if something comes up, they'll have this list ready, and they'll just fish out from there. And then I said, yeah, of course. And this round came up, and I got this job. So something may or may not happen in your favor, but the point is to be prepared. The point is to be prepared as much as you can, so that it can open doors for you. So So I would say for the resume, yes, you have to have those key points. Like I made changes. I told that I was an HR consultant. I was a financial analyst. So it's not 100% fit. Like it may be like not 100% fit to the role. But the point is to get noticed. You have to have those minor tweaks and get it proved from somebody. So that would help.
And keep trying. Don't get disheartened. Keep trying. It will ultimately work. Effort never goes in waste. Always remember that.
Okay, I actually haven't started trying to the full-fledged. I was just waiting for CBAP, but now listening to Natasha, I think I should keep trying because CBAP will happen eventually, but let's not stop ourselves.
Yes,
Correct.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your feedback.
Sure. My pleasure.
There's one more question from Taiwo. Can you give us two examples of how to answer the question, how do you handle a difficult customer? Okay, it seems you have faced this question, Taiwo.
Okay, sure. So, say about in my current role, there are customers that who come for requests and reports. So, what happens is now it's a technology role. So there are customers we deal with technology managers, we deal with tech leads and so on. So it can get overwhelming. It can get very intimidating because we always feel, oh my God, they know so much. So sometimes people try to scare you in a subtle way. Like they try to give you as much information, detail. They try to give that upper hand and try to make you feel, oh, like I know so much and I'm right. So that used to happen to me, and I used to get really scared. Like I used to feel, I used to pull in people. I used to say, "Please help me. What is he saying?" So be very assertive. Don't try anyone to intimidate you and make you feel that you are at the wrong place because you have rightly got that job. You have rightly been there. So don't let anything intimidate you. If somebody is trying to come to you very, push back very heavily on anything, maybe a technical knowledge, maybe a very compliance issue, like we need it according to a compliance rule. So listen to them, record conversations, listen to that later, ask your manager, reporting manager about, this is a situation, how do you deal with it? And I'm sure like my boss has been very supportive. She's assisted me in calls and I've listened to how she gauges it. So escalate a matter as and when required, but don't escalate it just right away because that will kind of have a doubt on your credibility. So escalate the matter as and when required, and don't let anybody shake your center. Don't let anybody make you feel that you're not good enough. So that is number one. And number two is sometimes, I remember there was this customer who wanted a dashboard, was very, very complicated dashboard. Like she wanted data coming from 9 different sources and she wanted something very complex. And she gave us a reason that it's something that her team needs and it's something that it's a compliance issue and it's a regulatory issue. So uh, don't try to I had that specifically like a problem because I came from a service industry. I was saying no was a problem to me. Like everything was okay, I'll do it, I'll try the best that I can. So don't try to serve the best in your possibility, but don't try to accommodate everything and anything that the customer is wanting, because they'll try to come to you even harder. Like they'll next time they'll come to you even with a difficult request, stating that you'll do what it takes. So try to give them a reason to say no. Like this was a very complicated report. So what I did was I escalated the matter to the tech lead and I asked them if this is something would be well, how complex would be the issue from a range of 1 to 5, like how complex it is. It was very complex. So I pulled him into the meeting and I made him understand that this particular report would be, tampering with our database, would have a problem with the other reports, and give them like a very good reason that why you're doing something or you're not doing something. So escalate the matter as and when required. And secondly, don't let anybody make you feel that you're not good.
Great answer. All right. So hope Tayo you have got the answer. I don't see any more questions. So great, fantastic session, Natasha. I think
Thank you,
your
sir.
answers were really good. I think for many people it would be pretty much enlightening and a lot of clarity coming from somebody who has gone the kind of traveled from being non-business analyst to business analyst. It would have been very, very useful. Fantastic. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir. Thanks to sir because sir has been like a personal mentor to me. So he's actually I've discussed meetings with him and my interviews with him. So I'd like to personally thank you, sir, as well.
Thank you, and thank you all for participating. I hope this was pretty useful for you. Thank you so much.
All the best, everybody.
Yeah. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you so much.